What's up? Josh here. iOS 26 has been out for a little while now, and in this video, I want to go through my clean and minimal iPhone setup with iOS 26, sharing some of my favorite apps, my lock screen setup, home screen setup, widgets, control center, and hopefully you can learn something new and incorporate some things from my phone to your phone setup. Now, with iOS 26, there is a huge visual overhaul with liquid glass, and while I think it looks cool, some of you guys may be experiencing some performance issues or a laggy phone. If that is the case, you can go into settings, accessibility, display, and toggle this on, reduce transparency. With this on, your phone should run a little bit smoother. Another change with iOS 26 is maybe you don't like the way that screenshots behave now with this full screen overlay. Now, if you want to dismiss it, you have to tap twice, which can be a little bit frustrating. If that's bothering you, go ahead and go into settings, search screen capture right there, hit screen capture and turn off full screen previews. And now screenshots will behave just as they did before, and you can just swipe it away. Okay, we're finished with the tips. Now let's talk about my home screen on my iPhone, which you'll notice is still the iPhone Air. Now, the look that I've gone for is this really clean one with minimal thin lines, but also some functionality down below. So you'll see I have my calendar widget for my next event, as well as the weather widget, which will tell me today's forecast. We've got the clock behind the wallpaper, which I think is a super neat effect. Down here, we've got the flashlight, as well as this app, which I'm gonna talk about later. This is my preferred photography app. Additionally, my side button, the action button, will toggle my work focus mode, which basically just mutes non-work related apps. And then my camera control button just launches the camera app. But yeah, this right here is my lock screen. If you're interested in the wallpaper, I'll have links down below where you can purchase it to support the channel. So many of you may have seen the thumbnail to this video and thought, what is going on with this home screen? The reason I went with this look, honestly, is because when iOS 18 came out, the ability to put your icons anywhere, that really intrigued me. And so I wanted something a little bit different that looks unique. Now that it's been out for a while, I've seen a lot of people also go with this look. And to be honest, I'm still not over it. Like, I like how it looks. It always brings up comments when I show my phone to somebody new. But also, I think there is a beauty in how simple this home screen is. You're sort of limited to just 10 apps on each screen. Honestly, you'd be amazed at how many of the apps that you currently have on your home screen that you don't even use or ever tap on. I think anybody can rock this home screen setup, and I would encourage you to do so. So on this first page are the essentials. Now, these apps are probably familiar to a lot of you guys, but we all probably use these apps differently. Let's just take Calendar, for example. So my calendar is my hub. I've got 3 different Google accounts connected to my Apple Calendar app. And then you'll also notice I have reminders on here. So starting in, I believe it was iOS 18, you can actually add reminders straight onto your calendar. And it's a really great integration just because with any reminder, like if you're reminding yourself to do something, there's typically a timeline attached to that. You're never just going to remind yourself to do something without a deadline. And basically my entire life goes on here. Everything from taking out the trash to property tax reminders to like tax deadlines, everything goes on here. I think without it, I wouldn't be able to function. It sort of brings organization to all of the chaos in my life. Camera app, pretty self-explanatory. Phone, I am a big phone caller. I don't really like texting. I think texting is just a way to schedule meetups or hangouts. Let me know down below. Do you prefer calling or texting? Okay, maps. This is a big one. I do use Google Maps. My car is a Tesla, so I have the navigation in my car. The reason I like Google Maps is for discovery. I like discovering new restaurants, looking at ratings, reviews, photos of menus, dishes. It's just a great tool that is multi-platform. Sometimes I will launch Waze when I'm driving my car. Waze does a great job with crowdsourcing data. And even though Google has acquired Waze, I do think that Waze has the more up-to-date information, especially with where cops are, stuff on the road like road hazards or vehicles stopped on the shoulder. That sort of thing Waze is great at. Now, Spark. This is my preferred email client. I am a huge fan of Spark. I have it on my Windows PC, my Mac, my phone, my iPad. The best part about Spark is it separates your priority messages, like stuff that actually matters, from your notifications, like shipping or returns, like all the marketing spammy emails. And it separates those into 3 different folders so that you can actually focus on the emails that actually matter. Not only that, it's free, so I am a huge fan of Spark. Clock. I know a lot of people will do this sort of thing where they have alarms and they just kind of like toggle which one they want the night before. I personally use this sleep function. The way it works is you basically set the amount of time you want to sleep, so I can drag this bottom wheel. Now I can just basically look at the wake up time. Let's say I want to wake up at 8 a.m. and now I know I have to sleep at 12:30 to get my full 7.5 hours of sleep. But I think the best part about this is the alarms that you get access to. So these alarms are a lot more gentle and they kind of fade in. Kind of like that one. Versus with the regular alarms. Oh yeah, another really interesting Easter egg. This jog wheel right here, you might think is an endless wheel, but actually, it has an ending. Yeah, it actually stops at 39. No way. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. You should show this to your friends. Moving right along, we have iMessage, Facebook Messenger, Notes, and ChatGPT. A lot of my friends, for some reason, use Facebook Messenger. I'm curious, in other parts of the world, what do you guys use? Now, the really annoying thing with Messenger is recently, Meta has decided they're discontinuing the desktop app. Super frustrating. I think the only reasons I have a Facebook account now is for Messenger and Marketplace. Then we have Notes. I am a Notes power user. I have my maintenance records for my motorcycle. I also keep my recipes in there, and I've even planned short vacations on Notes with friends. And then we have ChatGPT. This I'm sure is on so many of your guys' home screens. ChatGPT has become basically my search engine, therapist, brainstorming buddy, email drafting coach, tutorials. Overall, I use this thing a ton, probably at least a couple of times a day. And then wrapping it up, Spotify and Safari. Again, Spotify over Apple Music because it is platform agnostic. Now, as far as my widgets go, I haven't really updated it from last year. I've got my smart bulbs, a lot of which aren't hooked up because I just moved. I also have a birthday widget, which tells me my closest friends' birthdays, like which ones are coming up next. Got the weather widget, the Tesla widget, batteries. And then if we scroll down, I have some stats about my sleep. I know it looks bad. Yeah, I'm kind of tired. Actually, the reason that it's 3 hours is, I don't know, something with sleep tracking messed up. Probably got closer to like 5 or 6. Okay, moving on to the second page. This is maybe a little bit boring to some of you, but it is work for me. So yeah, this is where the magic happens. I do social media for work, and so it's all social media. Now, Discord is an interesting one. I do use Discord for gaming, but I have 2 accounts with Discord. The first account is my personal work account. So that's what I have signed into my phone. I use Discord to connect with other creators and link up with brands. And then on my PC, that's where I have Discord signed into my gaming profile. Next app is 1Password. Now, if this describes you, if you are still using the same password for all of your accounts, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You are just begging to be hacked. The nice thing with 1Password is you can basically generate passwords and it will autofill, integrate seamlessly with iOS. Not sponsored or anything. I do pay for the subscription. It is about $30 a year, which I think is worth it for the peace of mind and the convenience that it provides. Then we have all of the social media apps.
YouTube, YouTube Studio, TikTok, TikTok Studio, Facebook, Instagram, Threads,
and Notion. It's where I manage all my projects, manage my invoices, everything. Deserves its own separate video. I love Notion and I really could not run my business without it. But yeah, so far we have the essentials. Then we have the work page. Then the third and final page is miscellaneous. It's where everything else lives. But real quick, if you've been looking for a high quality, high capacity power bank, look no further. This is today's sponsor, the Anker Prime 220 watt power bank. It's actually a really well-designed system. So this is a 20,100 milliamp hour power bank that, as you can see, is really not that big. It's actually pretty portable and lightweight. You can essentially take this with you on the go to charge your devices, and when you're home, you can drop it onto the charging base that keeps your battery topped off. As far as outputs go, you've got two USB-C power delivery ports as well as a USB-A port, and what's really cool is you've also got two USB-C ports and a USB-A port on the base itself, basically acting as a charging hub while you're at home. On top of all of that, you can keep track of the battery stats through the built-in display like the wattage, and you can also do this through the app as well. If you're somebody who's constantly moving between home, work, and travel, or if you want to tidy up your workspace, this system makes a lot of sense. Big thank you to Anker for sponsoring this video. Links will be down below if you want to check it out. Okay, so page number 3, miscellaneous. These are all the apps that I use on a regular basis, but don't really fit on the other 2 pages. So starting first at the top, we have Strong. This is my workout companion app, and I've been using this app for a good probably 4 or 5 years now at this point. So in your history, you can actually see when you have worked out. As you can see, I took a very long break, but I was pretty consistently using this app a few years ago. Yeah, I guess I sort of fell off. I really started working out during the pandemic, and as you can see, it's been kind of spotty, but there was a time when I was more consistent. Now, this app is great for building template workouts. So as soon as you get to the gym, you just hit which template you want. These are all the ones that I've created, and you basically just hit start workouts. And yeah, there you go. This is pretty much something that I've created. You can input your weight, reps, tick it off. And the W on the side here actually stands for a warm-up set. So you can actually designate different types of sets. Then you can also tap on each workout. It'll actually give you a diagram of how to perform it as well as instructions. Then next to that, we have Partiful. This is what I use to plan events, whether it's a birthday party or a weekend trip or even holiday parties. Underneath that, we have WhatsApp and Line, pretty self-explanatory. I have some other group chats and chats with relatives in Taiwan. And then this one, this is the app that I'm sure a lot of you guys would be interested in. This is called Visco Capture, and it's not to be confused with the Visco app. Even though they are made by the same people, this is a completely separate app. Now, basically, this takes Visco's really popular filters and film emulations, whatever you want to call it, and just makes it into a really simple app. So as soon as you take the photo, it applies that filter and saves it directly to your camera roll. You don't really need to edit it or anything. This is the app that I've been using on my iPhone Air for most of my photography. I've gotten some of my favorite shots on it, and it just really makes everything look really aesthetic and nice. The filter that I use is A6. Now, it's not every occasion that I'll take a photo with this app. Sometimes I will just launch the default camera app if I want a more natural look. But yeah, I am a huge fan of this app, and I would recommend everybody go and try this app out. Look, it's you guys. Now, Photos and Google Photos. I do subscribe to cloud storage on Google Photos. I have pretty much my entire life's photos backed up on Google Cloud, which is pretty cool. I can actually search through it, go back all the way to my childhood. So right here, it detects your face, right? And it says there are 9,000 photos of me. And so I can go all the way back here and look. That's me in 2007. I really think it's worth it for you guys if you aren't already to back up your photos and just find those old hard drives on a weekend and just upload all of them to Google Photos. Then finally, we've got my one folder, which is my finance folder, which has all of my banking apps, investment apps, and then settings. There is one more thing to talk about, and that is my control center. These toggles, actually, I think on default, Apple gives you something like this, which I find to be a little bit annoying. Like, it just requires an extra tap for me to access certain things like Bluetooth. I have to actually tap once, then twice to turn it off. And then also, if I want to change my Bluetooth device, I have to tap a few more times. Whereas if you just add that toggle straight onto your control center, you can actually just press and hold to change stuff and press once to turn it off. And that works for AirDrop as well as Wi-Fi. And I find that to be a little bit more seamless. Some of the other stuff I use down here, my garage door opener, this is Google Translate. So I can just tap it and it'll open Google Translate. And then yeah, the rest of it is pretty self-explanatory. Feel free to copy how I've set this up. But yeah, that about does it for my iOS 26 home screen, lock screen, control center setup. Let me know in the comments if you have any tips or tricks or new apps for me to check out. Leave it down below. All right, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. I know a lot of you guys aren't subscribed. Also, leave a like on your way out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.